It wasn't until I implemented this approach to my training that I started hitting the races that I knew I was capable of doing. Maybe you feel like you're in the same boat. Whether you want to conquer that first mile or a runner, or you are taking the leap and signing up for that marathon, I'm telling you, you can totally do it. But the trick is that you have to be disciplined and consistent with your approach.
Again.
We're doing this again, guys. So
Welcome back.
Mr. Tech.
Mr. Tech. Sometimes.
There's this like little sound bar that you just have to
I have to remember to slide up, and when it seems like
he just like
there's a lot of things to remember. But welcome
streaming.
to
He gets stars in his eyes and we don't know what's happening.
TRE Live 2019. This is our goal setting show.
Yeah.
And we were just saying, like, I haven't seen him. This is the first I've seen him in probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we have, yeah, we separated and we came back and we're still married.
We had a fight.
He's married.
Falling out.
No fight. And yeah, we are really psyched to actually tackle 2019. I know people say that every year.
Yeah.
I wrote in my holiday letter. I don't know if you read it.
I did. I'm meaning to respond.
Oh, that'd be great. I write kind of a roundup of my year and sent out to my close friends and Nate. And and we know what I said about the running experience is that, you know, we've been doing this now for 4 years.
I know.
And I don't know that there has been an end of the year where I've been as excited as I am this year to tackle 2019. We have some really big stuff coming up.
Yeah.
We're gonna be redoing some of our programs, refreshing some stuff. We got other things that we can't announce as yet. And so our goal setting actually started, when did we start working with Warren?
We started a little bit before the break, and that was great. It was really good.
Post Thanksgiving.
You know, my thing with New Year's resolutions, sometimes it's like, meh, like you can get started anytime, and people jump on and fall off. But I still find that this is such a good time of year where everyone takes a step back.
Reset, yep.
And I do find it's like a nice chance to reflect a little bit. So
Yeah.
I like to jump on board with the New Year's thing.
I'm not a huge like resolution person. I guess it's just terminology.
Yeah.
I like the idea of establishing like what my goals are. My birthday happens to be at the middle of the year, like in June, so I use the 2 points as like, these are my check-in points.
Yeah.
And you know that I have a lady that I've been working with for about 5 years.
Yeah.
She calls me every week. We have a meeting for next Wednesday at 2 o'clock, and we have, basically it's a weekly like 10-minute call that just checks in and is like, hey.
I want to break up with my business wife, and she talks you off the ledge.
Yeah, off the ledge.
Mm.
And it is amazing how much a 10-minute call to just remind you, hey, what are my priorities? What did I do last week? Did I not get the stuff done that I said I was gonna do? There have been things that I have worked through where I didn't get stuff done for a year, 2 years. I couldn't get this thing off the ground. And because of my work with Holly, yeah.
Not Coach Holly.
Not Coach Holly, this is different Holly. And it's a funny thing, she doesn't do, it's not her job. Like, she just is somebody I found on Craigslist. She doesn't do it for anybody else. It's kind of a weird but amazing relationship.
I also feel like Craig is like a full user of the internet. Like I don't know too many people who get guitar lessons from YouTube. Like, do you guys get guitar lessons on YouTube? Like, you find teachers and you Skype with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's a totally rad way to use the webs.
I mean, the whole reason that you guys are on right now listening to us is because you found us online, and then you know, hopefully we can enact some change in your life. I find that is the same way for me going the other direction. The internet is an amazing thing anyhow, but especially if you realize that there are actual people on the other end that are not just pixels on your screen. I always reach out to people, and it's amazing that people don't do that much. So you get responses, and I have many teachers that way.
Yeah, like you guys have emailed us, and we'll write back.
Yeah, we have a whole team, and we all now field all of your requests and questions. Speaking of which, this is your one time to ask questions, so please pop in the comments. Let's talk to some people.
Yeah, we got to say hello. We got 90 of you watching right now.
Jessica's on. Great.
Jenna Kinsey, I learned everything from YouTube. HT Monaro, g'day.
We're speaking of the choir here about YouTube since they found us on there, so yeah.
I know, right? G'day from Ballarat, Australia. Karen Rowe, hey Nate, I love the new YouTube advertisements. It's great seeing TRE take off.
Fantastic.
I love it.
Yep.
Tone, what is up? My new goal for this year is to enjoy every single mile I run. That is that's a interesting goal.
Yeah.
Because there are times where it's like you're not gonna like it, but maybe it's like, okay, even when I'm feeling terrible, I have to find some level of enjoyment in it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll talk about my stuff later. Yeah.
Rachel, Eric, Karen, Jessica, Troy, David, what is up? Let me see here. Lee Hasbro, just scrolling up through here. Kay Pertula, how are you? Jacob Kepler, don't text and drive. Definitely don't do that.
I like that. It's a resolution.
I know.
Good.
Paul, happy New Year to y'all. If you guys are
heavily
just,
support that.
In and you're watching, drop your name, say where you're coming in from in the comments here.
I put hardwood floors in my house thanks to YouTube, says David.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
We actually fixed a leak in our ceiling the other day, and it was because our toilet seal was broken. It wasn't sitting well, and so we had to like unbolt the toilet and pull it off, do the whole thing. We felt very proud of ourselves.
All on YouTube?
All on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, right?
We love YouTube.
So, thanks, YouTube.
This is actually an advertisement for YouTube, so if you haven't subscribed to YouTube probably does have a channel. Subscribe to them. I don't know. Don't do that.
I don't know.
So we want to talk about your goals. So this is going to be kind of a multiple step process. One, it's us opening our own chest. I have of things that we are going to be thinking about for 2019, and so we'll let you in on some of that.
Yeah, kind of our own personal things, some of our work stuff,
and then talking about the process, because I think that for me, the process of setting goals is sometimes even more important than the way that I'm adhering to them. I find that if I go through the process of writing things down throughout the year, as long as I have some kind of cycle back to go back and look at the list, I almost don't have to worry that much about trying to get, because when the opportunities arise, I always end up saying yes. Like, oh yeah, of course, I want to go on that trip because I said that was one of my goals, or I want to actually, jump on that project because I said that was one of my goals. So,
I like that. I think one of the things we've started to do more, my wife and I have been planning our vacations more proactively and ahead of time.
You're so good at that.
Well, it's only been the last year or two, because previously what we've done is sometimes we've deferred and waited, and then we've gone through like August or September and be like, we haven't taken a summer vacation, and we take in October and we're kind of burned out. But the process of like planning ahead for trips is really fun, and then you have this like thing to look forward to, and it kind of mentally breaks up the year, and then all of a sudden you carve out that space because you're like, I'm gonna be here, I can't do things around it. Speaking of,
I should talk to you about my vacation dates this year, because I've already had some plans planned. Actually, a bunch of it is work related, but
so I know we got a bunch of travel. But one of the things that we're doing this year, we're excited, is to go to Switzerland, and we are gonna do
your other wife. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Are gonna do the Tour de Mont Blanc hiking route.
Oh, nice.
Which is 8 days, we're gonna do it in 8 days, but it's 105 miles, and you hike through France, Switzerland, and Italy.
When are you gonna do that?
We are leaving tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna be out for a while.
Take your ring off.
Really tired.
Take your ring off.
It's over. I'm out. I gotta, 1 day on, 8 days off, something like that would be great. No, we're probably gonna go in like mid-June. Yeah, something like that.
I think that planning your time off is important to planning some of your goals.
Do I look like in focus to you, or am I not in focus?
You don't look in focus to me right now, so.
I know.
Okay.
Am I in focus, guys? I can't really tell. You gotta help me out there.
Okay, now we're gonna go a little weird for a second. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Sorry, this is gonna go zoom in for a second, and we're just gonna make sure that this is all in.
There we go.
Okay, sweet. and then we'll go back. Okay.
Cool.
Hopefully that's a little bit better.
Okay. You know, growing pains of just getting back in the new year.
I know.
Tech challenges.
Back in. Speaker, sound. I mean,
hey, that is my responsibility.
You know what they called the first?
I'll take full responsibility for that. But
you know what they called the first movies that had sound?
No.
Talkies. I'm serious. Like
So
the
movies-
original,
Oh,
the
yeah.
original movies were like Charlie Chaplin,
Oh,
and
like
they were
it went really
quiet.
close to my face. Okay,
And
cool.
then it became talkies because that was the first ones with sound. So welcome to the Talkie YouTube channel.
I think of old movies. I think of Charlie Chaplin. They didn't really have much talking there, did they?
No.
Yeah.
That was
interesting.
the time.
Oh,
there was no literally there's no
that's interesting.
sound,
They just put
and they
music
figured out
over
how to
it.
put it.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Okay, so that has nothing to do with goal setting. We will.
Well, no, our goal is to make every live show from the very first minute a talkie.
A talkie, yes.
That's my goal
true.
for you.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm not gonna.
We're already 1 week behind today, guys.
Good God. Okay. So let's start out. You guys saw it with my news. If you notice, it's a different color.
Different
today.
color.
A little frothier.
It's not
too.
that same earthy kale.
Hey, now be careful.
Spinach. They're delicious, by the way. I've grown quite accustomed to Craig's smoothies.
There's a, I won't call him a nutritionist because he's actually a professor at Penn State, I believe. But he's a nutrition expert. He teaches and has many columns. His name is Michael Roussel. And we just are getting in touch with him through a friend because I picked up one of his books, and he has a smoothie book. And it's getting in the mail today, but I made this smoothie which I found online, and it is his kind of core smoothie. It's very different than mine because there's not like a massive amount of kale in it, but there's a fair amount of protein.
How much kale? Is there any kale?
Well, I already had my kale smoothie this morning.
So there's no kale in this.
There's no kale in this, which is almost feels like wrong to me. I was gonna put it in just to make myself feel
It's almost like if a tree falls in the forest and
if there's no kale, it's not even worth it.
If there's no kale in the smoothie, is it even worth drinking?
This is more like nuts and blueberries. It has some protein powder in it. I've been off the protein powder kick for a while, but I will say something that I learned from his book that I had kind of forgotten about. I knew before, which is that adding protein to stuff, makes me full for longer. There's just no question about it.
Yeah.
So, so I'm kind of back on that train. And we have a lot of protein powder that I gotta work my way through.
Yeah, you do. Oh, I know.
Not my favorite.
Better you than me.
Yes. So let's talk about goals, guys. I have gone through, I'll talk about my process if you want to talk about yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A quick before we go in that, Jenna was asking, do you have protein powder in your smoothies? If so, which one?
Okay, so Jenna,
we're opening Pandora's box, guys.
Yeah. The one I have right now is actually like the opposite of plant-based. The proteins actually come from meat.
Yeah.
I am not saying that I recommend it. They sent us so much of it.
Yeah.
I feel obliged to the cows to work my way through at least some of it. You can have some actually if you want. I like plant-based proteins, but I will say that the amount of protein in it per scoop and the amount of solubility in water tends to be not really where I want. There's also like whey-based proteins and casein-based proteins, the blend of which I hear is good, which is going to be my next place to go. I always put a little bit of the glucosamine, which is actually 2 tablespoons, has like 11 grams of protein.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I don't have, Elizabeth, if she's on right now, can chime in. I'm gonna do some digging as to what the best protein is, and then we'll come back to you. I don't really feel like I can stand on and be like, hey, this is the protein that we use.
I just don't enjoy things that require shakers with these little weird metal spinny things that you have to move around. Well, you
I
have
Vitamix, man.
You got all the way. I will.
When do you,
you know what I'm talking about? Like, people at the gym and they're mixed. They don't have like, they're like trying to mix something at the gym. They don't have it there. And so they have like the bottle with like the weird thing that bounces around.
I don't like that. I don't like any smoothie that doesn't have a
And
real
then you have
ingredient
things that clump in the bottom.
No.
And
if
it's
your
like
smoothie has
watery
all powder,
and clumpy.
Not into it. I like real ingredients. It says like flaxseed. It has cashews in it. It has blueberries in it.
But no kale.
It doesn't have kale, but the protein was like an addition. There's not a whole lot of other, there's a glucosamine powder and the protein powder.
Good.
Like, if it does not have a base of real food in it, I am much less interested in smoothie.
This has like a weird sweetness to it, which
It's the protein powder.
maybe that's what it is, because it has like that artificial sweetness. Like the one
It's
thing
stevia.
that I like,
They put stevia into that protein.
the one thing I like about your smoothies is
it's not sweet.
You really highlight the kale juice and froth.
I
Like
can't tell if
really,
you're kidding or not.
I'm a little bit of both. You can't ever tell. But I actually really enjoy it. Like it comes out, you know, very, very tasty and delightful.
Kale notes. You can't miss that.
Kale notes.
Okay, so who's the divergence today? I keep trying to get back to goals.
You really do.
Yeah.
My goal is to be more distracting to Craig.
All right. I'm going to take over the show, and we're going to talk about goals. First of all, I would love to hear what the process is. You see, I'm saying I now, not we.
Yeah.
I would love to know what the process is around goal setting for you. Do you do it? Do you not do it? If you do, like, what has been effective in the past?
Yeah.
For me,
what are some of the goals you've done this last year, and how did you set them?
I'm going to bring it up. Actually, I have it right here.
Oh.
So my process involves going back through my goals from last year first.
Yeah.
Saying, okay, if I do a 2018 goal review, and I have it here on the screen, I go by item, and I had a lot of things last year. And I was like, how well did I do on this? And then for me, crucial is not so much, okay, great, I did well on these things, fantastic. I send that to Holly, but the main thing for me is figuring out what are the things that I did not hit, and then why did I not hit them? Because if I set a bunch of goals this year and I keep my same mentality, I keep my same process, I keep my same scheduling and priorities,
chances are you're not going to hit it.
Yeah, and I've done this so many times now that I realize that the things that are hard for me continue to be hard for me unless I change something in like the way I'm approaching it.
That's interesting. So like if you have a goal that you didn't hit previously and you just kind of leave it on there, but you don't really change anything, it's like, well, I'm probably setting myself up to not hit that again.
Right, and so part of it is reviewing the last year and saying, okay, here are things that I remember saying that I wanted to get done, you know, and I'll pick a couple different examples here. So I'm gonna pick them outside of the running arena because my running actually has been on point.
Yeah, do you want to? So you have a few different categories.
Yeah, the categories that I have are music because music is a way I spend a lot of my spare time. Personal, which in the personal category, I have things about relationships. I have things about like my meditation. I have things about not just my primary relationship, but like my personal relationships in general. How am I like cultivating and community? I have cooking on here under personal, so I want to cook more. Then I have health, and I put all of non-TRE stuff that is just running or fitness related. It can also be food related under health. And then I have work and then travel experience.
Wow.
So work is all the stuff with you. And then I have, I also have under the work stuff like those negotiation videos that I put out.
Yeah.
I don't know if I consider that work, but
yeah.
And then travel experience, I have how many, like, you know, I have something like how many weekends away did I spend with friends? I aimed for 6 and I got that done. It's weird to say got that done because it's like, it's a fun thing, but it's one of those things where if I don't write that down at the beginning of the year, there are opportunities that come up.
We need to schedule fun.
Yeah.
It's a sad thing, guys, but we need to schedule fun,
you know,
otherwise it doesn't happen.
When we went camping and stuff like that, and like we've camped maybe 2-3 times last year, and those weekends, like I could have easily done something else, but I'm reminded that like, you know, almost I don't have to think about it. I'm like, oh, of course I'll do that because that was something that I said it was going to be a priority.
Karen says, wow, Craig, very thorough.
Craig, is it possible to run and meditate at the same time? It is possible to be in a meditative state. There are 4 types of meditation.
Ooh.
One is sitting down.
From smoothies to meditation.
One is walking. One is lying down. And then one is standing. The 4 positions of meditation. None of those are running, but you can imagine like being present and practicing being present and practicing like focusing on your breath is something you can do when you're running. I will say that the reason that meditation, the core of meditation is sitting on a cushion is because it's like your practice, right?
Yeah.
So like if you want to like go into a weightlifting competition and like bench press 500 pounds, you have to put in your reps in a practice setting. And so for being present in your normal daily life, the practice comes from sitting
Yeah,
on a cushion,
the
having that be
intention
the
doing it.
only thing you're doing. So can you mix them? Yes, but like one does not substitute for the other. So I go running, and I definitely will have periods of my run where I'm like focusing on, can I be present? But
being a little bit more of a meditative thing. You know, there is this movie called 3100, and I met the director downstairs for coffee before break a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And he made this movie, and he's on Mara Fraley's podcast. The name is eluding me right now, but it came out a couple months ago. This is being super helpful and specific, right?
Yeah.
But the movie is really cool, and it profiles a few different things about running, but it profiles these running monks in Japan.
Oh yeah.
It profiles this race in New York City that happens...
Is it Sanjay Ranwal?
Yes, Sanjay Ranwal.
Morning Shakeout episode 34.
Episode 34, great listen. And it profiles this race. It is nuts, guys. It is a 3,100 mile race around a New York City block. And every day you have to run a certain number of miles to kind of keep up. It takes people like 50 days of running 58 miles a day or something absurd.
That's ridiculous.
And they have to do 15 miles a day for like 50 days straight to make it.
Yeah. That wouldn't be quite 3,100 miles, but...
You know the math. What would be the math?
3,158 days.
Or something like that. 50 days, 55 days.
Somebody else do that math and then get back to me. Yeah.
something along those lines. But just a lot of miles over a long time, and they did it because at one level it was easier to kind of monitor a course as opposed to do some crazy point-to-point thing. But also, like, for people who do this, there's only like 10 or 15 people who really enter every year. It's this very repetitive, meditative thing.
Yep.
Where you just go around and around and around. Is that one of our goals for this year?
I mean, the reason that monks do that is that they're using it as a meditated practice.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not moving super quickly. They're also way more advanced on the meditation, progression than I think you or I. But
a little bit.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that meditation teaches, this is not coming from me, is that everything is a meditation. So like the way I pick up this glass can be part of my meditation. The way I wash the dishes can be part of my meditation. And when we're on retreat, that is actually the whole point, is not to just think about it being on the cushion. Yeah. So anyhow, that's the answer to that. I saw an interesting one here. It said my running schedule contains my goal races and then the outcomes. I created an Excel spreadsheet 5 years ago and have kept it up ever since. Awesome.
Wow.
Great. I mean, like if you can track that back to how you approach those races, that's amazing.
I think that's cool.
Susie says a strength program with the 6 weeks leading up to the TRE marathon training. Awesome.
Yeah, there we go.
Like to hear that. I always feel that the process of writing things down
can
is
we
the most
appreciate
important step.
this?
Yeah.
Susie's starting my 4th year with the run experience, using the advanced half-full training schedules this year for spring races, starting with strength program for the 6 weeks. That's so cool.
Oh.
Susie, you've been with us for a while. That's so special.
That's really awesome. One, we feel really great about that you're still with us. And then also, we hope that all of our changes this year really are helping you out, because we hope
new things.
It is specifically our athletes like you that we are targeting to kind of change things and improve programs we have, and then give it to you in a way that is more effective.
Freshen it up. Yeah. It's like when I need to trim up my beard, like I kind of do.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
I'm a little scraggly today, guys.
You got a couple grays in there.
Oh.
I'm like all gray down here, so that's why I can't let it go.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's been some years.
I didn't have grays before we started this. I'm just going to say that.
You were also younger. I definitely think that I'm trying to get back to this
I know. Let's get back to the goals. Sorry, I'm being very distracting.
I feel like the most important part is to actually set aside some time to actually establish your goals.
Reflection.
Yeah, and the reflection is a big part of that. I think the idea with goal setting, I think sometimes is establishing okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, but tracking it back to what are the actions. I think one of the things I did last year that was more effective is that I tried to take the larger goals and then be like, okay, what is the first action here?
Yeah. I've taken the opposite approach to the New Year's resolutions. Like my wife and I have done this the last couple of years, and it literally started on this like janky
whiteboard
piece of 8.5 by 11 printer paper.
Yeah.
And we have it on our fridge, but the fun part is that we have 2015, 16, 17, 18, and now 19 on there. And
we've like just be awesome.
The first one was don't suck, be awesome. That was Aaron's. But what we've done is we've tried to pick like each do 3 things, and it's like a short sentence, and the sentence is like somewhat vague, but it's we've talked about it, so it's like almost like a cue, like a reminder for us of what it was. So last year for me, one was become a better boss, which was just working with our team and just trying to develop that a little bit. Explore your backyard, which for us also meant, you know, doing more like trips in Northern California because we live in such an awesome place. So like going to the beach, going with a friend. I never did this, but to like just say screw it, like I don't normally surf, but like let's do that.
Yep.
Go up to the mountains, go camping. Like a lot of our camping trips last year was
talked about that. Awesome.
And then the other one was take time to learn new things. Part of that, I had initial dreams of like thinking about playing. You've inspired me on the music side.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe I will, you know, start to do the music stuff. I just like did not have any. I didn't feel like it didn't happen.
It didn't call. Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely learned new stuff just through work and reading a lot of books and podcasts, but it wasn't like a carved out hobby. So I'm thinking of like, do I keep that again for this next year?
The way I feel about hobbies, and for me specifically with music, but it could be anything, is that there's like a lift-off period where it is kind of work to kind of get yourself to do this thing that you want the goal of, but it doesn't feel good right now. And for me, the threshold is where it becomes my relaxing spot. So running, for example, when I'm not in shape or I haven't run very much, it's not the most relaxing thing to go outside. I've been running 6-7 days a week now for a number of months, and as I ramped up my mileage, now it's just like clockwork. Like I really don't like missing a day because it just feels
really good.
Yeah, and once I get to that point, I am not spending hardly any energy to get out the door and get going.
Yeah.
It's just normal.
The things that are habit don't require a lot.
And for me, with music, it's also, I don't have to spend any time to practice the guitar or practice singing or whatever it is. That's fine. It's just that there are parts that are less fun than others, and then I have to work on like, okay, put a little bit of time in there. So there's always a little bit of, you know.
You know, I've always been a little, I think, gun shy or purposely a little like loose on the running goal side. I mean, we should probably talk about running goals.
Yeah,
running channel.
That's the next place we're gonna go.
I think a thing for me this year that I never wrote it down, but I wanted to get back more into a regular rhythm. From a consistency standpoint, I, for the most part, was running 6 days a week. 2 of those days was probably only a mile each. And I used that as part of like a warm-up, cool-down, and a strength workout. But just the consistency of that was good. So I'm really happy with the consistency of running. We did our half marathon in the summer. I did like a race the week before that. I didn't really do any other races last year.
I think the main thing, we're gonna talk about our, we have a blocked off time at 3 o'clock today to talk about our business goals. And I would love to figure out like, what are the races you and I are going to do this year? Last year's the SF Marathon. Maybe we pick a couple more races. I think that for me right now, running is a vehicle for me to be better in my body. So if running, the problem for me right now, if I set like a time goal, I will very easily slip into a place where running starts to eclipse other parts of my life. That's where I was for most of my life, and so my default is when I'm in race mode, okay, now things that should matter start not to matter as much. And for me, like our company and honestly helping you guys get to your running goals is more important to me than dropping another 7 minutes off of, you know, my marathon time or whatever it is. Though that would be amazing, you know.
And not to say that those aren't important. I kind of feel the same. I feel like.
But I do want to race.
I've done that, but I also feel like I'm like, is that just and I'm just saying for me, is that just a cop out? Should I actually be, you know, boning up for something.
I think it's only a cop-out if you're not putting the energy into something else.
Yeah,
if you're saying, hey, I don't want to ante up at all, I just want to avoid, because it's hard to do that stuff. I mean, you guys know how hard training is. I think if you're not anting up for anything, then it's like, okay, I need to put some more rigor into this. But for me personally, like, I'm pushing the line on a couple different things.
Yeah.
Whether it's even meditation, I feel like, you know, forcing myself to go and do an hour a day. You know, and so that's like is difficult. But the realistic thing is, like, I can't do that and do the run experience and do music and train for a marathon in an intense way. Like,
totally, it's a lot.
It's just not going to happen.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And speaking of,
I already cut out the girlfriend. Like, I don't have that. So what else can I drop? Pretty soon my mom's gonna be like, you don't call me anymore.
Oh man. So we should take a quick break to talk about our giveaway.
Oh, let's do it. Yeah.
And also, if you're watching this, you're new, maybe you haven't seen this before, or you've watched for a while and you aren't subscribed. Subscribe to our channel, guys. Hit that, and of course, give us hit that like button, hit that thumbs up on the video. That helps other runners just like you find our channel, find our videos, and get the help they need to be better runners. Our giveaway this week is going to be a TRE hat.
Nice.
Our Earn Your Miles Boko style hat. I think we have one in the closet. You can probably dig it out. And a 3-month training club membership. I thought beginning of the year, January, you guys want to get started and off on the right foot. And we said, hey, let's do something cool. So there's going to be 2 winners for that. We're going big for you guys today because it is the beginning of the year. So click the link below in the description of this video. You can enter. If you're watching this video recorded, you're a lucky duck. You can still enter yourself because we will not do the drawing until January 10th, next Thursday.
I had an idea. If you guys have, since we are setting our goals right now, if you guys have goals that you would like us to go for within the run experience, or even within our own running, if you're like, hey, we want to see you guys do a Utah half marathon that is up a mountain.
Yeah.
Send it into the comments. I'm not saying we'll do it, but we'll take it into consideration.
I know. Did you just see Karen's note? Is that why you said Utah?
No, I didn't.
Because she just said you should do the Utah Ragnar's race.
Are you serious? Maybe I didn't see it unconsciously. Oh, I did.
Awesome.
Unconsciously, I must have seen that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that both from the side of like, what do you want to see from us in the run experience? We have lots of things planned, and then also, part of the fun of racing for me right now is doing it with you, doing it with you guys, where like you hear about our training. I don't have, for me, the peak of my mileage, I'll say, and in terms of like the amount of hours and effort, there's always new goals I can hit.
Yeah.
I think that I'm not gonna return to doing 100, 110 miles a week. I doubt that'll happen from here on out. But there are other things that I really enjoy tackling, like the trail races, doing the 50K the other year, or like running the half marathon with you. So if you guys, since you're part of that, I would love to hear.
Yeah.
Give us some challenges.
2 of my running buddies, Mario and Mike, are planning on 1 or 2 track events.
Okay.
Like the mile or something like that. I think this spring. And I'm like kind of intrigued with that. I already run with those guys, and it might just, even if I did like 1 or 2 workouts a week that were some shorter and higher intensity based stuff, get on the track.
I don't know what I would do.
I just do so much trail stuff that feels good, but it's like I haven't done that in a long time. So it might feel good to do it, and my ego is so far away that it's like whatever time I run is whatever time.
My problem with that is that I don't know if I could quiet my ego down.
Yeah.
Like the mile used to be like my event.
Oh, no, that's fair.
And like, I tried to break 5 minutes and I almost died.
Yeah.
I was like, I went on the track one morning, I was like, I could do a 5-minute mile still, right? Oh.
It was rough. It was a hard thing. So anyway, so that might be a thing this year. I could see myself maybe doing another half marathon. I don't know if I want to go full 50K again. I certainly don't have the desire to go further. I'm so impressed with Coach Holly.
Yeah.
Guys, we had her on the live show back in November when you were out in South Africa talking about the 50-mile race. I think she may have signed up for another one this year.
I don't even have to know. I know she did for sure.
But
you know Holly. There's no way that she didn't do that.
She's just loves it. She's been doing the super long weekend runs, so chapeau to her, as they like to say. What should we do next, man? Should we read off some people's goals? Do we want to
Yeah, I want to
talk more specifics.
I want to talk about the goals, and then like let's talk about the process.
The process.
Yeah, a little bit more of the process. Yeah,
totally. Let's see what some of your guys' goals are. Lee says, my goal is no DNFs on endurance events. I've never DNF'd with a quote-unquote finish line, but have 2 DNFs on a 9-hour event, not making it the full 9 despite having run long past 9 hours at different events. Okay, that's a good goal.
it's interesting. Yeah.
Michael says...
You know, I will say though,
common.
I don't know that I don't know that I feel with some of the endurance races that are out there. I know DNF feels like a failure, but I also feel like
that's a hard goal because you can't always control the settings of what would lead to that.
Sometimes DNF is the right, you know,
it could be the right reason.
It can be the right call for me if, you know, my goal is to run another day. You know, when I was in college and I knew the distance, I knew the race, DNF really felt like because like I'm just quitting there.
Or like, let's say, and this is a common situation for a lot of you, you have a half marathon or marathon that's something you really care about, and you know, 6 weeks out, 8 weeks out, 4 weeks out, you have a half marathon or 10K that's part of your build-up in your training, and let's say you're sick that day or you're nursing an injured knee, or you may think you have a stress fracture for some of you, you know, Uber runners who are really going after it. Like, it might make sense to be a DNF. Like, that would be the responsible thing as opposed to like tough it out. That usually doesn't work well.
But I think you'll know. I mean, like if you'll know whether you quit for reasons that you don't like or for the right reasons.
Yeah. I think that's really good.
Our gym has a 1/10 of a mile track. I've meditated. Oh, okay. With a hat visor on, looking down the line and just running. Yeah, I mean, you definitely can get into a meditative state running, huh?
Hold on here. Michael Hamilton, I think this goes back to the 3100.
Yep.
He said 52-day cutoff at 39 miles a day. Friend did it 9 times.
A friend did it 9 times? The race?
I'm thinking of that. That's
Jesus.
Incredible. My goodness.
Wow.
Rachel says meditation is my list of goals this year.
Oh yeah,
would be a good place to start.
Okay, Rachel, I have 2 suggestions.
This guy's got strong opinions on meditation.
Oh yeah, I mean, strong opinion is loosely held. I think I started out with Headspace. If you haven't looked at that app, that is like the
phrase.
Yeah. What?
Strong opinions loosely held.
Yeah, that is my motto. Yeah. I think you take a stance on things. It's anyhow.
I feel like I'm doing this a lot today, guys. I'm just like, yes.
And then
continue.
Hit your goals. That's gonna be the thumbnail for this video. I really like the Waking Up app by Sam Harris. He only launched it. I hope there's an Android version out. He launched the iOS version in the fall. It is excellent. It has a level of depth and intellectual understanding about what you're doing that Headspace just totally glosses over or doesn't have at all. Yeah. Headspace is kind of going off the angle of like, hey, you know, meditation for stress relief.
Right.
Sam has been meditating for years and years, you know, not dissimilar, but because he doesn't care about going just towards the stress relief audience, he talks about things that are like a lot deeper about, you know, the nature of how we exist in the world and like how we look out on things and free will and all kinds of, it was great. I love it.
I think what's nice now is that there's enough choices now.
Yeah.
And it's like you can find the app, the teacher, the voice that resonates with you and does the job. I'm still on Headspace just because I always have had it. It's been like a couple years now. I'm curious to check out the other one. I want to definitely check that out.
And Calm is also the one people talk about. I've tried it before. I don't really remember that much to say yes or no, but probably the same.
Oh man, Karen just said, I just finished transcendental meditation classes. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Edward says, I use 10% Happier app for meditation. That would be another Sam Harris app.
No, that's not.
Do you feel...
Or maybe 10% Happier has something to do with Sam Harris? I don't think so.
Do you feel like talking about meditation is sort of like a humble brag in our society? Like, for example, like, I've been happy this year because I have put back on my coffee.
Yeah.
And I kind of realized, like, no one really wants to hear that. It's like, it's sort of like,
you're happy because you're back to drinking coffee?
No, like that I've cut back on coffee.
Oh, yeah.
But whenever I say that, I'm just like, look at me being better than you. I'm not drinking as much coffee. Like,
I think about it this way, that people could take it that way for sure.
I'm not saying you do that. I'm just thinking like how we use meditation now,
right?
In general,
talking about running is that way too, right? Because for people who, you guys all run, but for people who don't run, if you talk about running, it is a little bit of like, hey, I'm doing this thing that you're not doing.
5 miles.
Yeah, exactly.
No big deal.
This is what I'll say about meditation and about running, which is I believe in them very strongly from the idea of like, hey, both of these things have really improved my life, both running and meditation.
Yeah.
And I am more than happy, hell, we've started this company to tell the world, hey, this is a thing that you can do. You can be healthier. It's very available to you. You can really start to feel different in the way you exist in the world through running. I feel the same way about meditation. I don't think I'm going to be starting a meditation company, but I'm more than happy to proselytize. What's the word?
Yeah.
It's
like an SAT word.
Yeah. I'm more than happy to spread that message in the same way. And so hopefully, it was in my Christmas letter. I linked the things that I thought were useful, and yeah, that's how it goes.
You do a good job of saying things that way, where you're not like dropping it like, nah, look at me.
Look at me.
Hashtag.
I don't know
blessed.
that. It's hard for me to imagine somebody like being like, wow, you went on a retreat for 7 days where you didn't talk, and think that sounds like fun, or I wish that I did that, or I don't know. I mean, I know that when I used to hear about that before, I was just like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
I used to use stronger words than that, but yes. And I never thought that I would, not even that I wanted to do it, but I never thought I would ever see a reason why that would be something in my life. Like, and on the other side of it, I feel differently.
So for those of you guys who set different goals out here, we've seen some different categories of things. We've seen things that are outcome goals, and we've seen things that are process goals.
Yep.
Do you have an opinion on one versus the other?
I think that outcome goals get me excited, and I think that process goals get me there.
Yeah. So like the outcome goal is like, I want this big thing to happen. I want to qualify for Boston. I want to not have any DNFs at any events. Like, you have control over some of the circumstances that lead to that, but then you also don't.
Yep. I think that if I'm gonna if I start a goal, sometimes I don't know how I'm gonna get there at all. Like, how on earth am I gonna get this thing done? Because it involves so many other things.
Yeah.
But having some sort of action, be like, okay, I can at least spend 20 minutes every Monday morning at 9 o'clock to say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
With meditation, like one of my prompts is that Nate comes over, and if he's worked out, he'll go take a shower. And like when Nate gets in the shower, it's like my prompt, like, okay, this is a good time
to meditate.
I'm gonna stop what I'm doing, and I'm gonna sit down to meditate. And so I think something like having something as a catalyst that is benchmarked, for this is like, okay, you're the prompt, right?
Yeah.
And it's regular, and I can count on that happening. Having some kind of stimulus like that, I think, is useful for me.
Yeah, I think that is really good. I found that for those of you guys who've mapped out your goal races, I think it's helpful to really do that. And some of you guys, if it's like your first half or one of your first few, like that's gonna default be your goal race. When we did our 50K, that wasn't a casual thing for us.
Yep.
It was like, even at this moment, like, we're just getting through this thing. So that took the top prize, but we've graduated to a point where it's like we could drop into a 5K. It wouldn't be our goal race.
Yeah.
However, it could be, right?
We could drop into a half marathon if we really wanted to. It just wouldn't be a great race.
Right, like we could drop in and make one of those things. I was like, we want to have the best level of fitness. Like, think of the Olympian who's getting ready for the 5K. Like, they can do a 5K almost any day of the week, no problem. But they're really trying to get all their ducks in a row for this one day. Having some training races and events. I think I saw someone talk about that.
I like the idea of making reminders. I've been doing this recently, which is I block out if I'm going to be gone, or like I want to make this trip happen, or I want to make sure that I don't stomp on this trip without anything else, or whatever it is. I block it off on my calendar, and that way that time is marked. Or I will set up a reminder and be like, hey, this race is opening on this date. Like 2 days before, I put a reminder, check in to see the website, and then the day of, I'm like, okay, 8 o'clock, it opens, make sure I sign up.
Yeah.
And that way I can kind of get it off my mind.
Yeah.
I basically don't want my goals on my mind unless they're exciting me.
It becomes something that's like
if it's a
down
if it's a burden, like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing this, I should be doing this, then all of a sudden it becomes like, eventually I just get tired of myself thinking that, and it becomes more of a thing I'm like constantly pushing away. I want the thing that if it comes up and I talk about it with Holly, or talk about it with you, I want it to be the exciting thing. The process stuff should go into my to-dos and calendars and stuff.
Right. And just having the priorities and figuring out what's important. I think sometimes with running, like, we can get pulled into goals that maybe other people have that we think we should do.
Yep.
You know, sometimes people say like, well, I've run a 5K, like maybe I should do a half because everyone else does. We had someone on here who was talking about running 30 miles a week going into high school.
Okay.
And let me see if I can find that. I just saw it. Anyway, high school viewer, thank you for watching. Wanting to run 30 miles a week for high school is great. Especially when you get into the competitive world, like you're going to be told, or you're going to have the expectation of, I should be running a certain number of miles.
Right.
And sometimes that can be good, and but sometimes it's not good, especially if your body's not ready for it. Like how many, we've both gotten in trouble following that advice,
100%.
right? Like how many other runners have gotten in trouble? They're like, I should be running 40 or 50 miles a week or 80 miles a week if I want to be competitive, but our body's not ready for it yet. Like that's not a good goal, because
there are other things one of the things that I did was it last summer. I was having problems with my lower calf. I actually have it. If you see here on my workout stuff, it says rehabilitate lower calf, and it says accomplished. And one of the things I put in was like, okay, what's happening is I say I want to go running, but my lower calf is hurting. If I keep running on it, it's just getting worse. One of these things is just not going to happen. And so what I said is, okay, I need to take 60 minutes a day, and I'm gonna either exercise, which means I'm gonna go running, I'm gonna go to the gym, whatever it is. 60 minutes a day is gonna be dedicated towards this. And if I can't do that, then I work on the thing that's hindering me. And it was the dedication to like, okay, from 6:30 to 7:30 in the morning, I'm always doing something. That helped me, because that was process oriented, and then it just meant like, okay, if it's not this, it's this. If it's not this, it's this. And just kind of go down the line.
So Lee says they have to leave, but they have a great question is, how can you answer, how do you stick to a plan or schedule? That's my biggest goal, honestly. I have tons of plans. How to keep going.
So my thing about this is, one, the way you get started is really important. So you set the goal. I think that when people think about sticking to the plan, you're thinking about it as like, hey, I need to like stick to it over these next 4 months. That is really heavy, like emotionally and mentally, to get your head around how am I going to do this. If it's a weight loss thing, or if it's a nutrition thing, I'm not going to eat candy bars the whole year. That feels just onerous. And I think what for me, it's setting, we talked about process-oriented goals, setting what that first action is that you're going to do, and getting that done. Like, get some momentum. Goals just need momentum.
Setting a low bar that feels like a win. I think sometimes with plans, we do a good job the first few weeks, week to 3 weeks on it. But then if we veer off a little bit, this time of year for a lot of you guys, you're in cold climates. The days are really short. It's really hard to get out in the morning when it is cold and dark AF. And then you're like off a day, and then maybe you're off 2 days, and then you're like, I give up. So it's, how do I even just say like, look, maybe I didn't do the full run as planned, but I went out and did something today because my day got rearranged, so I'm consistent. Like, what's like a lower bar win from the consistency standpoint? I think that's the win.
There's a guy named BJ Fogg, F-O-G-G. He was my roommate's dissertation during his PhD at Stanford, and not dissertation, on his panel or whatever. And his whole thing is around how do you build habits. And the elements that he talks about are, like, he calls them tiny habits. You can go look this up. I think he has a TED Talk about it. But tiny habits, he thinks about it as, one, there has to be a stimulus, like something that's a catalyst for it. Then there has to be a really low bar. So, he says floss one tooth. right? Do one push-up. And yes, you may end up doing a lot more push-ups, but the accumulation and then the last part of that is you have to have like a prompt. So every time I walk through this doorway, I do one push-up or I do one pull-up on a pull-up bar, whatever it is, right? But just a really small thing and then you have to celebrate. Like he always says you have to have some sort of thing where you're like, all right, sweet, I did it. Give yourself, it may feel weird, but you have to give yourself that kind of like emotional kickback. For running, I think like put your shoes on and get out the door. If you walk around the block and come back, be like, sweet, I did my goal. I was gonna walk around the block and come back, and let that be okay for a while. Eventually, you will build on that inevitably. But when you're like, I didn't get there, I'll do it tomorrow, like whatever, that's when you get on the bad train.
I think in the early days when you're having to exercise and exert some mental willpower to go out the door, like for both of us, we have had such a routine of exercise that it's something that neither of us spend really any mental energy going out. Like if anything, it feels weird if we don't go. But when you're getting started, it is that, and it's like earlier in the day when you're not weighed down as much by family, work, stresses, etc. It's easier to make those decisions and make it more of a habit. Like people rarely are, like if you are someone who is running after work and all of a sudden like something happens and you have to like extra, or your kid's in detention and all of a sudden you have to wait for them, and then it's like instead you were gonna run at 5 and then it's like running at 6:30, like you got a 50-50 shot of that happening, right? But if you're running first thing in the morning, no one's in detention yet. Like you can get it done.
And make it okay to like, I was doing this last fall, which is I would always say, okay, if I can't go out for a full hour run, like what's the point? I don't want to go out for 2 miles. And I made a purpose, like I purposely said, okay, you know what? Like I'm gonna make it okay that if I don't think I'm gonna exercise today, I'm gonna just throw away the whole workout. I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna go out for a mile. Go out for a mile and be like, cool, I got it done. At least I checked the box and like, I did what I said I was going to do today, and it just builds momentum for the next day.
Yeah, I think that's really, really good from a consistency standpoint, and not being as hard on yourself in that respect. I think we can all do that. And if you did lose a day, like, not all is lost. Like you can get back on track.
The other major thing that I try to enact in my life, I did some work with this guy Dan Ariely. You should definitely go watch his TED Talks. He's a professor at Duke, and his whole thing is how people behave, behavioral economics. And I worked with him for about 6 months right before I started working with Nate. And what he taught me, the main thing I got from working with him is environmental design. So how much does your environment lead you toward like the person you want to be? So an example of that for me is in my fridge, like where do I put the healthy food? Is there any unhealthy food in there in the first place? But like, do I put the stuff where it's easy to get, easy to access? For me, if you look at any of the places where I spend time, there's a guitar. Like within arm's reach. It's like right next to my couch, right next to my desk, next to my bed. So any place that like I can always reach out and pick it up. And the reason is just having to like walk across the floor, and like it's surprising what will actually stop me from doing. So I find the places where I'm gonna be naturally and settle.
So a lacrosse ball next to your bed, a foam roller in the living room.
Totally. There's a reason like I keep some of these toys out here, because if I put them in the closet, it's just not gonna get out and get used. And I think like thinking about how your environment can lead you to using things more easily, putting your running shoes next to the door, right? Like let it be there for until you bring the habit up and the habit's there. Like make it really easy on yourself. Lay out like your clothes. Don't put them in like, don't have to make yourself go find the clothes that you're gonna go work out in. That sort of thing. Environmental design is incredibly, incredibly useful.
I love that. That's so good. Speaking of process-oriented goals, we are kicking something off next week we've never done before.
That is right.
I'm very excited about our first ever burpee challenge. That's site-wide. All of you guys are invited to do the burpees with us. The cool thing is that you choose the number of burpees you want to start with. It could be 1. It could be 5. It could be 10.
Choose half of whatever you choose.
I'll get to that in a second. We're choosing. The kicker is that each subsequent week you have to have 10 additional daily burpees. So say you choose 1 burpee on the first week. This week 2 you have to do 11 burpees. Week 3 you have to do 21 burpees, and so on and so forth. If you go higher, you go 10, 10, 20, 30, 40. You could start at 50, 50, 60, 70, 80. You could start at 70, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Wow. So the lowest people will be doing in the end of the month is 40 burpees a day.
Yeah, which is still a lot. The burpees don't all have to be done at once. So for example, let's say you've worked up to that 4th week and you're hitting those 41.
This is going to have some impact.
It's going to have some impact.
Yeah, if you do 40 burpees a day for a couple weeks, that's a lot.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But you could split it up. You could say 10 burpees in the morning, 20 burpees in the middle of the day, 10 burpees at night. Like you could split things up that way. You could run and you say, hey, I'm going to warm up with 10 burpees. Every 10 minutes, I'm going to stop and do 10 burpees, and you can kind of knock them out.
You do them really slow too. You don't do the pop up and down like I can imagine.
You could step in and out. You could step in and out to a plank. Like you can make this scale and work for you. In our video, I really break down. I go full geek mode on the burpee.
Good.
Break it down, showing you how to do it, keeping your heels and big toes together for that a little extra alignment mobility. So we're using this not as something just to, get hot and sweaty, but to actually move better. So if you are without goals and process-oriented things to start, or join us for the Burpee Challenge.
Even if you are and you're just good at tackling things and you want like community support, this is all about it.
I want to challenge myself with this. I do a decent amount of burpees. I want to finish doing 100 burpees a day for a week, so I'm starting at 70. So for the first week, I'm doing 70 a day.
Good God.
80, 90, and 100.
Well, then I will start at half. I was going to start at like 10.
But start whatever that works for you. And throughout the challenge, guys, we're going to be posting a lot in the community tab. We'll be sharing some different like tips in there. Some of you guys could do some different variations of the burpee, right? It could be a one-legged burpee or one-arm burpee. Like you could do lower volume burpees, but really have fun with it.
Yeah. So how long do you anticipate 100 taking you? I remember having to do 100 as punishment in CrossFit classes. It took me a while.
100 burpees in a row, if you're moving, is like 7 minutes.
Okay.
So that's the way I think about it, right?
Okay.
It's like 7 minutes a day of burpees.
Of intense burpee effort.
But it doesn't have to be all in a row. So that's the thing there. So hopefully you guys are going to join us.
You guys let us know how many of you can do 100 burpees in 7 minutes. I don't think I can do that at this point.
Totally. I noticed how the comments stopped as soon as I said burpees.
Talk about burpees.
Now, I know a bunch of you guys there's a ton of comments on that video. You guys have already mentioned that you're doing this. We're going to do a burpee compilation video, hopefully featuring all of you guys at the end.
Awesome.
So in the process, we're going to do a little call out. You guys filming your burpees, saying something how
which means you got to do them with good form.
That's right. We'll choose some of our favorites and we'll.
I love this, man. This idea has grown and grown. I like it.
I know, so good.
I have to say, when you first said it, I was like, okay, are we gonna do? All right, I'll do the burpees. Now I'm excited.
I know it's gonna be really good. So it's our kickoff for things. We have to do our giveaway.
Nice.
That we have left on from the previous week, which was a pair of sunglasses.
1,800 entries. Nice.
Whole bunch of you guys. So this is from those of you who watched the live show and entered before Christmas.
December. Yep.
2 of you lucky ducks are winning here. Let's see who we got.
I've just had 2 smoothies today. That's all I've had.
Elizabeth Day. She subscribed to Craig's channel.
Oh,
you are a winner of some Gooder sunglasses.
My channel still on there?
And Tone, sometimes I'll leave it on there just for fun. And Tone from Hampton, Virginia, you are also a winner of some Gooder sunglasses. Nice. So congrats, you guys. I'll email you with the ability to get all connected and everything.
Fantastic. And thank you for subscribing to my channel. Yeah. I will try to put out some videos soon.
And make sure you enter this week's giveaway, guys. We're doing a TRE hat and a 3-month training club. So if you're thinking about, ooh, I've got these goals, I've got this race, because we've got some great programs in the training club, everything from a 5K to marathon. We've got beginner and advanced options. We have a great beginner and 30-day challenge, which just gets you really thinking about all the daily mobility and strength and run form stuff you can and should be doing And some like Susie started with that 4 years ago. She's still training with us, right? And just those little habits of rolling out with lacrosse ball, they stick, and they just make you better without you having to exert a lot of willpower. And I think that's some of the magic there.
Yeah, awesome, cool.
Craig, we're gonna have to do a Craig meditation-led program in the future.
I do not feel qualified to do meditation coaching. I have this thing where like I want the people who teach meditation to like, they've spent like years in
Nepal.
Yeah, something like that. Because there are people that are like that, and they're distinctly different than people who are parroting back phrases.
They are on another level.
Yeah, I mean, I could lead you through a meditation where you're kind of like, I tell you what to do. It's different though. It's not. I'm not an expert at all, and I wouldn't feel. But the whole idea of bringing some of that stuff into running, I think that's some space that we can really play in. Yeah,
totally. Well, hey guys, another week. Welcome. We're swinging into 2019. Thanks as always for watching and tuning in. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you for some burpees starting on Monday.
Some burpees starting on Monday?
Monday, January 7th, man. That's when it's going down. Are we going to do the call out here, the outro?
We're trying to. I don't know what happened.
The outro got all small.
Oh, you know what? This is going to be the outro. All right.
Let's do it.
Guys, we will see you guys next week. That's all I got to say. All right, bye.
Transition.
Hey guys, hey there, hey there, if you are not a runner, this ad is not for you. But if you are and you enjoy running, well, I have a question. Do you feel like you're becoming the runner that you want to be? Do you feel like you're getting the coaching and the training and the guidance that is going to get you there? Would you even like to follow workouts that gave you the strength, the mobility, the motivation, where you start seeing results in a matter of days? For years, I struggled with injuries, with burnout, with not racing well. It wasn't until I implemented this approach to my training that I started hitting the races that I knew I was capable of doing. Maybe you feel like you're in the same boat. Whether you want to conquer that first mile or a runner, or you are taking the leap and signing up for that marathon, I'm telling you, you can totally do it. But the trick is that you have to be disciplined and consistent with your approach. And that is exactly what you get with the Run Experience on-demand training. 24/7 access to proven programs on things like strength and injury prevention from our team of coaches and experts. You get daily video training and nutritional guidance so that you can be both physically and emotionally strong through your running, and access to our exclusive community of beginner and advanced runners just like you that will just support you through all the ups and downs of being the runner. And the best thing is that you can try all of this free for 7 days. All you need to do is click the link either above or below this video. It'll redirect you to a web page where you'll be able to learn a little bit more about this whole thing, and you'll be able to start your 7-day free trial. I'll see you there. Hey guys, hey there, hey there, if you are not a runner, this ad is not for you. But if you are and you enjoy running, well, I have a question. Do you feel like you're becoming the runner that you want to be? Do you feel like you're getting the coaching and the training and the guidance that is going to get you there? Would you even like to follow workouts that gave you the strength, the mobility, the motivation, where you start seeing results in a matter of days? For years, I struggled with injuries, with burnout, with not racing well. It wasn't until I implemented this approach to my training that I started hitting the races that I knew I was capable of doing. Maybe you feel like you're in the same boat. Whether you want to conquer that first mile or a runner, or you are taking the leap and signing up for that marathon, I'm telling you, you can totally do it. But the trick is that you have to be disciplined and consistent with your approach. And that is exactly what you get with the Run Experience on-demand training. 24/7 access to proven programs on things like strength and injury prevention from our team of coaches and experts. You get daily video training and nutritional guidance so that you can be both physically and emotionally strong through your running, and access to our exclusive community of beginner and advanced runners just like you that will just support you through all the ups and downs of being the runner. And the best thing is that you can try all of this free for 7 days. all you need to do is click the link either above or below this video. It'll redirect you to a web page where you'll be able to learn a little bit more about this whole thing, and you'll be able to start your 7-day free trial. I'll see you there. Hey guys, or hey, hey there, hey there, if you are not a runner, this ad is not for you. But if you are and you enjoy running, well, I have a question. Do you feel like you're becoming the runner that you want to be? Do you feel like you're getting the coaching and the training and the guidance that is going to get you there? Would you even like to follow workouts that gave you the strength, the mobility, the motivation, where you start seeing results in a matter of days? You know, for years, I struggled with injuries, with burnout, with not racing well. And it wasn't until I implemented this approach to my training that I started hitting the races that I knew I was capable of doing. Maybe you feel like you're in the same boat. Whether you want to conquer that first mile or a runner, or you are taking the leap and signing up for that marathon, I'm telling you, you can totally do it. But the trick is that you have to be disciplined and consistent with your approach. And that is exactly what you get with the Run Experience on-demand training. 24/7 access to proven programs on things like strength and injury prevention from our team of coaches and experts. You get daily video